our next speaker, and we are managing to have everything on time. I don't know if I might have said to the speakers that I have a friend in Sicily, and they have Sicilian ambassadors, and everybody's going like really, really neat. So thank you very much, Dr. Cavalieri, for the suggestion. And our next speaker, I don't know if I call him American or Brazilian. He speaks really great Portuguese. He speaks a wonderful English. He's Brian Cook. He's a very well-known gem dealer. I met him in Tucson many, many years ago. He's passionate about responsible sourcing. He has been known for many, many decades for his very close relationship with Paraíba tourmaline, and also on his relationship to rutile quartz, that he has a great passion for it. He's a passionate gemologist and geologist, as many of you in the audience, and he's passionate about our industry. Everyone, a big applause to Brian Cook. Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
All right, good afternoon. Boa tarde, galera. What an amazing Congress so far. Is everyone awake? What time is it? You need a coffee, a nap, caipirinha. So this is a Brazil-centric conversation because we're in Brazil, but my message is global. I will have photos, they're mine unless otherwise noted, historical photos beginning here. This is Chapada Diamantina in Bahia, and that is the Capão. And if anyone in Brazil here has been to Capão, you won't recognize it. The rocks are still there, the mountains are there, but the valley has been developed, as a lot of beautiful places have been developed over time. I think that's 1984. You know, I like this word, responsible sourcing. It's easy to understand. Ethical jewelry, for example, begs controversy. You can parse ethics so many ways. It begs controversy. From responsible comes responsibility. You can abdicate responsibility, step away, or you can be conscious and take a responsibility, perhaps for an action, an attitude, an undertaking, to do something that has a positive impact. And that's what we've been talking about during this Congress. I'm totally blown away, flabbergasted. Translate that. Abestalhada? I don't know. But I'm totally impressed that years ago, 14, 15 years ago, this conversation was a whisper. And here it is, sort of the theme of the Congress. Response from responsible is the action. So taking an attitude to create an action to have a positive impact. And that's what we've been talking about. And it's amazing that words have meaning. It's very important. I was going to mention the blue list. It went over very well by Gaetano. Remember to check it out. You're all invited to participate in helping to define the words that we need to have a harmonization, that we're all on the same page as we educate, because we are the educators of the industry. 14 years ago, Claudius Sclia mentioned sustainable development. Another word I like, sustainable, easy to understand. Brazil is endowed with great mineral resource. The mining sector is good. It has a long history of laws, geopolitical, a nice place to be. Brazil has all the opportunity, and I would ask the government who is here, and thank you for coming, to now focus some attention on your small-scale artisanal mining community. There was great discussion this morning about that, but let's go there. The gold sector, artisanal mining, that's a whole different universe than what we're involved in, and it's huge. But I would say the government can help unlock the potential of this incredible resource that Brazil is in this jewelry industry. So, are we responsible for sustainability? Well, hell yeah. Claro que sim. We're at least responsible for sustaining our industry. We all want to sustain our industry. Let's look at some numbers quickly. The size of our economy in 2024, around $371 billion, projected to perhaps $566 billion in 9 years. That's a pretty rosy attitude. How are we going to reach that kind of growth? Well, it's going to be based on what we do now, the actions we take, what we do correctly. We can get there. Let's look at the value capture in the different segments of our industry. Mining, extraction, processing, cutting captures the least amount of value with the most amount of people working. The highest value capture is with the least amount of people employed, but for good reason. It takes a lot to build to those levels of value. I understand that. So now I'm going to ask our industry. I have a pitch to the industry. Maybe we can take 1%, 2% of the top value capture and reinvest it back at the beginning, the source. Because remember, the artisanal mining community makes up about 80% of the colored gem crystal business, mineral collectors. So that investment, you're investing in your resource, and that is foundational to the whole industry. That is the foundation. Primary producers. So this is a historical photo. I don't know if it's 84 or 83, I don't remember. This is about 6 months into the discovery of the Sokoto emerald deposit in Bahia. Notice the woman gracefully poised over the precipice with her hand on the post. At the bottom of the post is a rope. That is the way into the chasm of the mine. This is a primary producers. And not all artisanal small-scale mines, as was maybe thought with the ASM today, has trucks and excavators. Much of the mining today in the world is still like this. Artisanal miners, low capital, literally working with sticks, ropes, bits of tire, rubber. And remember that artisanal miners are responsible for many of the major discoveries of our most precious gemstones. And I would note, Paraíba is a state, not a color, although it is now a reference to a color. Amazing how that happened, but so it's a difficult enterprise at the artisanal level. It's dangerous, often lacking equipment, safety equipment. So is our jewelry industry sustainable? Is it sustainable? 8,000 years of connective history is our industry, or 120,000 if you want to go Paleolithic, but it's such a long-running history, and as has been discussed, a family. You know, our industry is global. Our industry appreciates all cultures. The tolerance is vast. As in the noble metals, I would suggest our industry is noble in that sense, on a global scale. So is our industry sustainable? No, it's not alcohol. I'm not suggesting that, but I took this picture because it's what is available. This was Tucson this year at the end of the AGT and up in the bar. But I wanted to get a picture of the action around a trade show. But is our industry sustainable? Yes, it is. And it depends on what we invest in. because it's made up of that, how many generations? 8,000 years to us. We are the continuation of this legacy. We're all humanity. Now, without a doubt, we know that there's a growing demand for sustainable and ethically sourced material. Guess what the age group is that most cares about that, most demands that, wants to know what we're doing? Yeah, you already knew, but 18 to 39-year-old, 74%. So sustainability, yes. That is the next generation of our industry clients. So we need to talk to them. What do they want? And I'm really heartened by what I'm hearing today. The interest in that we need to work with the communities. This is a project that during the pandemic, I gathered some money with a group out of England, and it's very simple. We just sent some money, said, what do you need? They bought food packets, cesta básicas. So I suggest, yes, go afield, collect data, get information, do videos, create the stories. The stories is what we are. It's our substance. Report, educate, go to symposiums, create symposiums, do blogs, Zooms. This is the essence of our industry for the future, I believe, is to connect with the entire industry and create the stories around it. Always essential in the reporting, tell the truth. Don't make shit up to sell stuff. Not that we do, but we're the educators. We need to inform the rest of the industry that being transparent, being truthful, that is going to help the industry. Making stuff up, that's going to hurt the industry. A few quick examples. A German geologist arrives in Minas Gerais in mid-1990s. She finds a outdated pegmatite, a family, she connects. Anyway, they create a whole business around that. They create a business, they cut stones. They have a business in Germany around that. They invested in that. A larger example would be Moyo Gems in Africa with the help of PACT. They started educating women miners, cutting stones, creating markets, creating story. These little things are building. So these are the kinds of things that we have the opportunity to generate more of. I have my own idea. I have a project that I'm creating in the Chapada Diamantina of Bahia, Brazil, where we mine rutilated quartz. And it's a simple step-by-step, small investments. One investment builds upon the other, which comes to a conclusion of a model. The base is the formalization. You help formalize these artisanal miners. A PLG, a permissão de lavra de garimpeiro. That's basically a permission for artisanal mine. It took me almost 10 years to get through the process to do it. I was the first person to stake a claim in this area. But when I did that, it opened the doors for the other landowners. I taught them how to do it. We created a miners' cooperative. So that's the base here. Gems Keep Giving is getting involved by contributing to the health and safety. These are basic. The next step is to take low-grade material and create a business. So a lapidary school is going to begin with the simplest product, tumbled stones. With the low-grade material, there's an instant market. There's stores and companies waiting for traceable colored stones. And as you get better, you teach skills in cutting. This is the basic value-added philosophy. It opens the door for entrepreneurship, microempresas, micro-industries, with the local community. Essential to my philosophy and project is we need to look for other types of income revenue to stimulate while we're mining, because mines are not sustainable. The definition of a mine, it's not really sustainable. It ends. eventually. And in my project, regenerative agriculture is the logical application, something we can do, something that will tick more boxes on the United Nations social development goals, food security, many positive things, but that is something that is generational. You teach it, it is sustainable. Many people want to visit our places, visit these kinds of artisanal communities, so we build facilities. We have visitors come. Some of those facilities will be dedicated to long-term visitors. I encourage science, academia, research, a place where people can come and study the biomes, the geology, the gemology, the social. The possibilities are vast. This is an example where we had a production of good rutilated quartz. We produced all through the night. By the morning, the villagers knew what was happening. The ladies all come up and they processed all the tailings and took everything of value out of that. And that's theirs. And this is a logical step in our process. The women miners, and they do exist, they really do, they gather stones and they're involved in different mines, and what they collect in money becomes very important for their family. Other example, I worked 3.5 years with Swarovski in the Amazon. They needed a resource. We vetted, did the due diligence. We found a resource for Swarovski. We set up the supply chain, the exportation, created SAW, so that created some jobs. And then that company, a large company, wanted to invest back in the community. And we decided that reforestation, land reclamation, bioforestry, bioproducts from the forest, these are all things that give back to the community. This is an example, for example, the family farm size, a 5-hectare plot. What happens is a family comes in, they get 5 hectares, they deforest, they take the forest down, put cattle on there. Within 10 years, the land is so degraded that it supported 2 cattle. The family had no means of survival, really. So we worked with a group who came in. They taught by demonstration, and that's the key, demonstrate. They planted, they reintroduced carbon into the soil, taught what plants to plant first, squash, beans, manioc, the banana trees, created shade. All these things is a way of learning how to regenerate your soil. Within a year, this family was getting a minimum salary just from the bananas they were selling. It's remarkable. And what's key here is that the system of planting and planting iconic trees alongside that, over time it just gets more rich, more valuable crops come, and you're regenerating the forest at the same time. That's an example of a large company investing in giving back. We worked with Rio Terra out of Porto Velho, Rondônia. They grow hundreds of thousands of starts, and they work with traditional river communities, indigenous. They supply all these thousands, hundreds of thousands of starts. Here we're looking at acai, which is a valuable plant. It's a plant that brings money. Reforestation, money from the trees. These are the kinds of projects that if our industry supports and gets involved in, this is the message that we can give. Back to my project, very essential. Our group, ICA, we're all involved at the source or are the source. And working directly with those communities, we have the opportunity to do projects overseas. In this case, there's the civil society, the guy, he's an entrepreneur, he's the football coach. We have the Secretary of Education, the mayor, the president of the Miners Cooperative, the Secretary of Health, the son of the mayor. These, working with this group, We have the support from an amazing organization, a nonprofit, private in Brazil, Sebrae. They have 700 locations in Brazil. Their mission, their dedication is for micro industry to help stimulate business. They're behind. I had several meetings with the director in the capital of Bahia. They said, yes, when this gets going, call us. We'll help. We'll support. We'll give. They educate. They show how to start a business. Amazing resource here in Brazil. Brazil's got so much opportunity right now. Gems Keep Giving, as I said, stepped in. The bottom tier for the health, we'll talk about this tomorrow, but we created a program with the Secretary of Health and Education, get a certificate, learn, receive a respirator, a dust protection against silicosis, and talking specifically about regenerative agriculture. This is key, because this is real sustainability. We want to create a program connected with the high school. 1-2 hectare science garden to teach the science of regenerative agriculture. It's the botany, the biology, the chemistry, the soil. Teach the high school kids as a science course, and that will go on. And then we also have a dedicated area for researching plants indigenous. Brazil is full of amazing herbs, spice, medicine that has potential. We can introduce plants. We can create essential oils. My wife, Kendra, is a master of essential oils. She teaches the subject. We can distill essential oils, create products from that, health, beauty products. Those kinds of actions is true sustainability that you introduce in a community that's based on mining. So my motivation in this has been for a long time, is for that generation, and the generation next after that, and the generation after that. Aqui é uma cartão postal do Brasil. This is a Brazilian postcard. It's a beautiful blend of humans in a beautiful land. Brazil is on the verge of unlocking an example for our industry, and for our industry to show the world. And we learned today that our industry, it can be a peace asset, an amazing concept that we can build upon and show by example. Because our motivation for me, these and their kids and their kids and their kids, they are us in the future. Think about that. Here's an old friend. He's a retired garimpero. He's thinking, my time is fading. When I was a kid, almost everything we needed came from the land. I watched the transistor radio come into my village. The world became bigger. I watched energy. Electricity showed up in the mid-1990s. I watched the horse be replaced by motorcycles. And now the kids got TikTok in their pocket. So what will you do? So, words from the wise. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. My time is up. But actually, our time is vast, and we're here to communicate, talk. We have so much opportunity with the Brazilian government here. Let's have conversations. Let's get things going. And guess what? There's time for questions. Yay. If anyone has a question, please ask, because A question in the back? Microphone. Whoops. We have 6 minutes. We're good. Yeah, no, I'm actually blown away with what I'm hearing today.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Brian.
Tomas.
So for the rest of you, my name is Thomas Petch. Most of you know my father, Julius Petch. He turned 86 on Sunday, so he wanted to come, but he sent me over. Just to make another thought of what you just said is in your theme, you had the theme of responsible sourcing. And I wanted to add one more, out of my opinion, one more very important thing. This responsible sourcing does not stop with us, means with the Gemstone people. The responsible sourcing goes one step ahead with our clients. And I think, and I want this to be let's say, a point where everybody should make the thoughts up. We all have to sign responsible jewelry council stuff. And I think we should implement in that responsible thing that there's a responsible sourcing also from our clients. That means keeping a memo for a year and deciding after a year that that valuable stone, with all that history we have heard today from field gemology, etc., all that implements that we have to be treated also from the next step responsibly. That means we have to, in my opinion, talk one step ahead as well to the people that buy our stones. And this means responsible is, in my opinion, if you send someone a very nice colored gemstone, there is nothing to say when it takes a look at the gemstone for like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. But anything longer, you know, it all runs down to the mine. We have to get respect from our clients, so we respect all the line down there to the source. So I just want you to make a thought of responsible sourcing even one step ahead. I think that's very important for everyone here. Thank you.
That's an interesting thought. And yeah, so again, our responsibility is to educate those that are buying stones from us. All the information that we're getting, the wonderful presentation by Wim helped explain the value and the process to get there. And I think the more our clients know about the full story, the more value it adds for them to tell their story. And this is key. I think the more information you know, in any, I've seen it in the wine industry. A novice starts drinking wine. The more they learn about the whole system and all the varieties and all the nuances, the more they like the wines and the more interested they get in it. The same thing with gems. The more you learn about stones and gems, we all know this because we've experienced it, the more you want to know, the more interest you get, the more passionate. So we have to deliver the information, the details, the stories upstream. And you send a good stone, send as much information as you can to support it. Yeah. More questions? Got 1 minute? Come talk to me. Thanks again.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. Great talk. Yes, finally we had time for questions. Thank you for taking the stage and asking. And it was such an inspiring talk that impels us on looking at ourselves and what can I do and what can I inspire our colleagues to do when they are in the field and when they are involved in this beautiful industry. So thank you very much, Brian, for such an inspiring